Hi, my name is Chris Ryan and welcome to this second video in this mini series about consistency and how you can improve the consistency in your golf game. Hi and welcome to the Marriott Golf Academy here at the Grand Vista Golf Resort. And welcome to this second video in this mini series, this two-part video series about how you can get more consistency into your golf game. If you haven't seen video one, I will link it down below. It probably is a good idea to watch that video first. We're going to layer that up in video two with giving you some little exercise that you can do in practice, which is going to help you be more consistent. So we're going to use an example to start with. We're going to use, let's pick Rory McIlroy. So let's take Rory McIlroy with his 6-iron. I've got my 6-iron in my hands here. Now, if you were to put Rory McIlroy in the middle of the fairway with a 6-iron, we'd probably agree that he'd hit that ball onto the green and probably pretty close to the flag. Now, if we took that same setup and we moved Rory, let's say, an inch further away from the golf ball, so moving back this way, and we also moved the ball maybe one ball further forward in his stance than he would be used to. So he's a little bit further away and the ball is a little bit further forward. What do we think the end result would be? Well, I'd probably put a fair bet on the fact that he'd hit that ball still onto the green and still pretty close to the flag. So what has he done? Well, he's got a huge amount of skill. We know that. He's got a huge skill level when it comes to playing golf. And he has got the ability to deliver the golf club to the golf ball and make that ball go to his intended target, even if he's not in a perfect setup position. Now, all too often, I see golfers on the driving range practicing almost this perfect swing. But in the reality, when we get out onto the golf course asks us questions that the driving range doesn't. So, for many of the amateurs that I see, if they happen to find themselves in a situation where the ball is slightly below their feet, or the ball is slightly above their feet, or it's a slightly downhill, uphill lie, they really struggle. They can't adapt their technique. They tend to miss hit those shots. And then, when they miss hit those shots, that's when they come into the lesson tee and go, I was inconsistent today because I had a great 6-iron on the one hole, but then on the 7th hole, I topped it. And very often it's because, as I say, the golf course is always asking you different questions. It's giving you strange lies. It's giving you downhill, uphill. It's giving you balls sitting slightly down in divots. It's giving you balls sitting up in the rough. And we have to be able to deal with these situations. So that's a great example. Very often you will see, depending on where in the world you play, sometimes you hit your ball in the rough and it's almost like it's sitting up on a tee peg. You need to have the ability to adjust your club delivery and hit that from the sweet spot and get that intended ball flight. So we're going to go through a simple exercise that you can do, which is what I call skill acquisition. You're just developing your skill level so you can answer the questions that the golf course is going to ask you. I've got my golf ball here, which is just going to be down here on the grass. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to place another 4 golf balls around it. So I call this the 5-ball drill. So if I was to set up that middle ball, that would be my normal starting position to a 6-iron. I actually want to hit 5 shots from each of those different positions. So obviously this golf ball here is slightly further away from me and it's also slightly closer to the target. This golf ball is slightly closer to me and it's also slightly further away from the target. Now I can't change my setup. So what I need to do is I need to basically develop and learn the skill of golf. Now what is the skill of golf? The skill of golf is being able to deliver the club to the ball in such a way that we can predict the outcome. This is very, very difficult for a lot of amateur golfers, but I guarantee you that a lot of the golfers you see on TV are very, very good at this because they've just got the ability to control that golf club, make it come down and interact with the ground exactly where they want. So let's go ahead and do this. Obviously we can't leave those 5 balls there and hit them, but let's go ahead. So we're going to do this one first. So I'm going to set up to this one as if it would be my normal setup towards my intended target. But I'm going to nudge that ball out the way and I've now got to try and hit that golf ball. So I'm going to start from this normal position, but I've got to deliver the club in such a way that I can make contact with that golf ball. Okay, and I managed to produce a pretty good result there. Ball went pretty much at my target. Strike was pretty good, and you can see I've made contact with the ground in exactly the right place. So let's go the complete opposite to that one. So there's my normal setup to this golf ball. When I've got myself up, I'm going to move that out the way, and I've now got to try and hit this inside ball. And again, the result was pretty good. It had a different shape on it, had a little bit more right to left, which can be a little bit down to the fact that the ball was further back in my stance. You'll notice that the divot size was a little bit different, But ultimately, I made the changes that I needed in my golf swing to deliver that club to the ball and get a pretty decent result. The key thing to this would be, if you asked me what have I done to change where I hit the ground and change the strike, I couldn't answer that. I haven't done anything intentional. I've just basically looked at the golf ball, reacted to where the golf ball is, and delivered the club in such a way that I could get that intended result. If you can start to develop this part of your game, you can start to improve your skill level, you can start to have control over where that golf club interacts with the turf, you are massively, massively going to improve your consistency out on the golf course, because during a round of golf, you will get all sorts of different lies. As I've already said, ball below, ball above, ball in the divot, ball sitting up in the rough, all of these different things, even to the extreme points where you get huge amounts of wind on the golf course and it's blowing you and you have to lead into that. You have to be able to deal with all these situations. The golfers who don't deal with them particularly well are often the golfers who come into the lesson tee explaining that they struggle with consistency. So they hit good shots, they're followed by terrible shots. It's going to be very often because that ball was hitting differently, or potentially out on the course they set themselves up a little further from the golf ball than they're normally used to. They don't react to that, they don't deal with that, it's a poor strike, it's a poor result, and they believe it's inconsistent. I guarantee your golf swing won't really change from swing to swing. You need to have the ability to control that, look at the ball, and I call this playing golf. I'm not making a golf swing here, I'm playing golf. I'm looking at the ball, I'm aware of my target, and I'm just making the necessary changes to ensure that ball finishes on that target. So, 2 videos there, which I really, really think are going to help you add consistency to your game. But it isn't instant. It's not a quick fix. We can't fix consistency like this. It's a process. It's making sure you're practicing in the correct way. It's about ensuring you understand your golf swing traits and what you need to work on and what you need to balance out. And if you can work on those 2 things, I'm absolutely 100% sure that you can improve your consistency. And if you can improve your consistency, you will lower your scores. And it is more fun, I guarantee you, if you're shooting lower scores out on the golf course. And you're probably going to get some bragging rights off your playing partners too. So hopefully those 2 videos were helpful. Some information you can take away to your practice sessions and make those practice sessions more efficient and ultimately get some better results on the course. Thanks for watching. Usual stuff is always down below. Comments box, like button, and there's a link down there to subscribe to the channel. If you're not a subscriber, click that link. It just means you won't miss any of the videos. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again soon.